Hello, hi guys. Today it is our last part of chapter 5th, and today the chapter will be completed. Yesterday we have left over the atomic radius. What is the atomic radius? Atomic radius generally represent the atomic size. As you all know that what is the atomic radius? The distance between the center portion of the atom to its outer boundary where the electrons rotates are the electron present. Simply say we say that the distance between the nucleus to the outermost shell or outermost valence electron represent the radius of an atom, and that radius of an atom is decides the atomic size of an atom. The atomic size of an atom is generally known as by the atomic radius of an atom. Just simply we have said that in the circle the distance between center to its outer circumferences represent the radius of a circle. Same way in an atom, if it is a nucleus and it is the outermost subshell, and the distance between the nucleus and its outermost subshell represent the atomic radius, and that atomic radius decides the atomic size of an atom. Now what is the trend in the modern periodic table into the atomic size? Now before I want to say about the changing in the atomic size, we want to clarify the effective nuclear charge. What is effective nuclear charge? The effective nuclear charge or effective nuclear charge simply represent the effective nuclear force. What is the effective nuclear force? It is a force that is exerted by the nucleus to the electrons. How much electrons are attracted to the nucleus? That force is known as by the nuclear force or effective nuclear force. Why nucleus attract the electron? As you know that the electrical nature of the electron is negative, and nucleus is consist of the proton and neutron. Neutron doesn't carry any type of charge, but proton carries the positive charge. Due to that positive charge, overall nucleus is also have a positive charge. Now as we have know in the lower classes that the opposite charges attract each another, so the outermost electrons and the centermost positive charge attract each other. That attraction force between two opposite charges, the central positive force and outermost valence electron has a negative force, that attractive force is known as the effective nuclear charge. Now I hope that you have understand about the effective nuclear charge. What is the effective nuclear charge or effective nuclear force? The force that is exerted by the nucleus to the electrons, that is known as by the effective nuclear force. Now what is the properties of the effective nuclear force in the atomic radius? If we have moved into the period from left to right, the atomic radius will decreases. Why? Because the effective nuclear force or effective nuclear charge increases. Due to that reason the atomic size decreases, because the number of shell in a period will remain same. In a period if we move left to right, the atomic radius will remain same. Hence there is atomic radius decreases. Why atomic radius decreases? Due to increasement in the effective nuclear force. As we move left to right, the atomic radius decreases, and the reason behind it, the effective nuclear force increases. When the effective nuclear force increases, if we have moved from left to right, so the more force is provided by the nucleus to the electrons. Hence, with the more force, the electrons are attracted toward the nucleus. Therefore, the atomic size, the atomic radius is decreases when we move from left to right atom. It simply means those atoms in a period they are present into the left side, they have a generally higher atomic size, high in a radius, and those which are present into the same period on the right hand side have a low atomic radius or low atomic size. If I want to clarify with the example, just in the same period, that is the second period, they contain the elements just like a lithium, beryllium, boron, magnesium or carbon, nitrogen, oxygen, fluorine and neon. These are the elements they are present into the second period. Now if I want to represent them along to their size, so the atomic size is decreases from moving left to right. If lithium has that much size, so the beryllium has a smaller size than it, boron has a comparatively smaller size than it, carbon has a smaller than it, nitrogen is smaller than the carbon, oxygen is further smaller than the nitrogen, fluorine is more smaller than that, and neon is more smaller than the fluorine. So if we move from left to right, the atomic size is decreases. The reason behind it, due to the effective nuclear force is increases and the atomic size decreases. If we move from top to bottom into a group, the atomic radius increases. Why atomic radius increases? Due to decreasement into the effective nuclear force. Now here, why effective nuclear force decreases when we move from top to bottom? Due to increasement or due to addition of new one extra shell into the elements, the distance between nucleus and outermost electron is increases and the force is decreases. Therefore, if we have moved from from top to bottom into a group, and the effective nuclear force decreases due to presence of one extra shell in each period from top to bottom, and hence the atomic radius increases. So it just simply means if the if the element are present into the same group, if one is a that much size, then next one is a bigger size than it, and further one is a bigger than last one, and it is a bigger than it one. So simply mean to say that from going top to bottom into a group, the atomic radius increases. From going left to right into a group, atomic radius decreases. So it was our points according to the atomic radius, and the atomic size of the hydrogen is 37 picometer. Picometer it is the smallest unit of meter. 1 picometer equals to 10 to the power minus 12 meter. Okay. The next and last topic of our chapter is metallic and non-metallic properties. As we have already know about the metals and non-metal, we have learned about it into the 8th and 9th classes, and we will learn about it into the first chapters. The name is chemical equations or reaction. So what are the metals? Here we have defined the metal. Metal are those in which electrons are free to move, are those element or those atom which can lose their electron easily are known as by the metals. As you know that into the 9th class we have learned that when an atom or element loses its electron, it is changed into the cation. If it is gain an electron, it is changed into anion. Now there is another concept. If some element, just like we have assumed that it is a metal, if metal lose electrons, then there should be a deficiency of one electron and it will acquire the positive charge. So the metal are known as by electropositive element, and non-metal acquired or gained the one electron due to it gained the one how many electron it will gain, that much a negative charge it will gain. So it will gain overall negative charge, and it is known as the electronegative element. So simply we say that metal are those which lose electron easily, hence they are known as by the electropositive element due to the losement of its electron, and non-metal are those which gain electron. Due to gaining of electron they acquire negative charge, hence they are known as by the electronegative elements. In a period going from left to right, metallic properties decreases. Why metallic properties decreases? Due to increasement into the effective nuclear force. As we have moved from left to right, effective nuclear force increases, hence there is a difficulty to lose the electrons, but there is a possibility of gaining of electrons. Hence the electron do not be lose easily. So from moving left to right, so from moving left to right in a period, effective nuclear force increases, hence metallic properties decreases or non-metallic properties increases. So simply we say that those elements which are found on the left hand side, they are generally a metallic in nature, or they have metallic properties. Those who are found on the right hand side are generally non-metallic in properties. The reason behind that, they have a low effective nuclear force, they have a high effective nuclear force. From going top to bottom, as you know that from going top to bottom effective nuclear force decreases, hence metallic properties increases. So here we have learned about the metals and non-metals and its change into the modern periodic table. Now there is another thing, those elements which possess both the characteristics of the metals and non-metals, what should we call them? We should call them metalloids. Metalloids are the elements which contain the properties of both metal and non-metals. In our periodic table, on the right hand side there is a zigzag line or border line, just like a border between the two countries. There's no any two countries, but there is two types of elements. One is a metals and another is a non-metal. So there is a zigzag line that is separating some metals from the non-metals. That zigzag lines are also known as by the border line that contains the element which are known as by the metalloids. Metalloids are the elements which contain the properties of both metals and non-metal. So in our modern periodic table, there are the metalloids element starting from the boron, silicon, germanium, arsenic, antimony, tellurium, polonium, and astenine. These are the elements which contain the properties of both metals and non-metals, and they are present along the zigzag lines. Okay, I hope so that you have understand overall fully chapter and you have enjoyed it. If you want to suggest anything, then you can comment on it, and please share and like my channel and tell your friends to subscribe it and watch it and learn it. Please note these things into your copy, because it will in your notebook, because it will help you whenever you will memorize it and whenever you will repeat it in your exam or in your daily school life. Okay, tata for now. We will start our next chapter into the next class. For now it is enough, and our chapter 5th is ended. Okay, tata for now, goodbye.